Loading the terror. Please hold.
Good evening. I welcome you to Strange Nexus, your portal to the realms of the strange, spooky, and unexplained. On tonight's episode, I bring to you the story of Jenna, an over-eager scientist playing with forces she may soon learn to regret.
Darkness hung heavy in the air as I stared at the intricate array of wires and circuits before me. My hands trembled slightly as I adjusted the final connections, my heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. I had spent years working on this project, pouring my sweat and tears into creating a portal to another dimension. My name is Jenna Carter, and I am a scientist. It was supposed to be a breakthrough in our understanding of the universe, a way to explore realms beyond our own. But as I looked at the portal humming softly before me, a nagging feeling gnawed at the back of my mind. Doubt, fear. What if I had miscalculated something? What if I was about to unleash forces beyond my comprehension? Taking a deep breath, I pressed the final sequence on the control panel. The portal began to shimmer, its edges dancing with an otherworldly light. The room seemed to vibrate, the air growing thick with an eerie energy. My heart raced, and I couldn't tear my eyes away from the portal. This was it. Suddenly, a gust of wind whipped through the room, blowing my hair back and causing the lights to flicker. I stumbled back, my heart in my throat, as the portal's glow intensified. The room seemed to stretch and twist, colours warping and reality itself distorting. I reached out a hand as if to touch the swirling vortex, but my fingers met only empty air. And then, with a deafening roar, the portal seemed to explode outward, a shockwave of energy knocking me off my feet. My vision blurred, and I felt myself being pulled, torn, stretched in ways that defied explanation. I screamed, a sound that was swallowed by the chaos around me. When the sensation finally subsided, I found myself gasping for air on the cold, hard ground. I was no longer in my lab. My surroundings were alien and twisted, a nightmarish landscape of twisted trees and shifting shadows. The air was thick with an acrid scent, and an unsettling stillness hung over everything. Panic gripped me as I realized the magnitude of what I had done. I had opened a portal to another dimension, and now I was trapped in this nightmarish realm. My heart raced, and I struggled to my feet, my eyes darting around in search of any sign of familiarity. I stumbled forward, my footsteps echoing eerily in the silence. Every rustle of leaves, every distant whisper sent shivers down my spine. I felt like I was being watched, like unseen eyes were boring into me from all directions. My own breath sounded loud in my ears, and I had to fight the urge to scream again just to break the oppressive quiet. Hours, maybe even days, seemed to pass as I wandered through the twisted landscape. The sun, or what I assumed was the sun, hung low in the sky, casting long, distorted shadows that seemed to dance on their own accord. I had no sense of time, no way to gauge how far I had travelled or if I was even moving in a straight line. My fear began to give way to a gnawing desperation. Was this dimension some kind of hell? Was I doomed to wander its twisted corridors for all eternity? Tears pricked at the corners of my eyes as I thought of my family, my friends, and the life I had left behind. Would they ever know what had happened to me? Just as I was about to collapse from exhaustion, I stumbled upon a clearing. In the centre of the clearing stood a structure unlike anything I'd seen before. It was a towering monolith, carved from a dark obsidian-like material that seemed to absorb the feeble light around it. Symbols and glyphs covered its surface, pulsating with an eerie energy. As I approached the monolith, a feeling of unease washed over me. It was as if the very air was vibrating with a malevolent force, but something drew me closer, an inexplicable curiosity that pushed me to reach out and touch the smooth surface of the structure. The moment my fingers made contact, a shockwave of images flooded my mind, visions of unspeakable horrors, of monstrous entities that defied description, of a world consumed by chaos and madness. I screamed and stumbled back, clutching my head as if it could contain the onslaught of terrifying images. When the onslaught finally subsided, I found myself on my knees, gasping for air. My mind reeled, struggling to process the horrors I had witnessed. I realized that this monolith was a gateway of sorts, a conduit to the darkest corners of this dimension. With newfound determination, I forced myself to my feet. If I had inadvertently opened a portal to this dimension, then maybe I could find a way to close it. Maybe I could undo the mistake I had made. Days turned into weeks as I journeyed through the twisted realm, each step taking me closer to unraveling the mysteries of this place. I encountered strange and terrifying creatures, some that lurked in the shadows and others that stalked me openly. I learned to avoid the areas where the very fabric of reality seemed to fray, and I found solace in the occasional pockets of relative normalcy. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, I stumbled upon a chamber deep within the heart of this dimension. In the center of the chamber stood a massive, pulsating heart-like organ, suspended in mid-air by tendrils of darkness. I recognized it as the source of the malevolent energy that permeated this dimension. With grim determination, I approached the heart and examined the tendrils that held it aloft. I realized that these tendrils were like the roots of a tree, anchoring the heart to this dimension. If I could sever these roots, maybe I could weaken the grip of this dimension on our reality. I pulled out a tool from my backpack and began hacking at the tendrils, each strike sending echoes of pain reverberating through the heart itself. The room seemed to shake, and a chorus of anguished screams filled the air. Shadows writhed and twisted around me, as if the very fabric of the dimension was fighting back. But I persisted, fueled by a desperate hope that I could undo the horrors I had unleashed. With a final, powerful strike, the last tendril was severed, and the heart let out an otherworldly wail before dissolving into a shower of sparks. The room trembled one last time before falling still. The malevolent energy that had once saturated the air began to dissipate, and the chamber itself seemed to fade, as if it was unraveling like a nightmare upon waking. I stumbled backward, my vision growing hazy as reality itself seemed to warp around me. And then, with a jolt, I found myself back in my lab, surrounded by the familiar sights and sounds of my world. The portal had closed, the room was quiet, and I was alone. It's been years since that day, and I still can't shake the memories of what I experienced in that other dimension. The horrors I witnessed, the malevolent energy that threatened to consume everything. It all feels like a lingering nightmare that refuses to let go. I've dedicated my life to ensuring that no one else ever opens a portal to that dimension. The knowledge I gained, the horrors I faced, serve as a grim reminder of the consequences of tampering with forces beyond our understanding. The scars on my mind may never fully heal.
Wow, what a tale. This reality never ceases to amaze me. Now click subscribe and kindly like this video for more Strange Nexus.